Good morning, everybody. Today I'm working on my Honda GL1500 Goldwing, and I'm going to be working on my steering stem bearings. I want to check and adjust the bearings. So let's waste no time and get right to it. All right, so we're going to take these pockets out. Turn this way. I can take these out from the bottom and the side first, and then the top tucks in. There's a tab right there, it tucks in. Okay, and we'll take this one out. There we go. All right, then we'll pop this cover off. This snaps on right there under the handlebars. All right, now we'll take our handlebars off. It's a 12 millimeter. I think I'll mark this. Now I'll kind of sort of know where my handlebars were, and I'll know which clamp goes on which side. And there is a dot. You can't really see it because mine's all dirty, but there's a dot. That dot goes towards the top. And break these loose. Just kind of set them out of the way. We've got to remove these hoses out of the holders. We'll move it like that. And wires are really kind of in the way. Let me take this zip tie off so we can access this better. There we go. That gives us a little clearer view of where we got to be. Okay. Now we're going to need to loosen these handlebar clamp bolts. While we're here. We're doing that so when we take this top triple part off, it'll come right off. Okay, I think those are loose enough. Now we need to focus on this wire. This is really the hardest part of the whole job. And you got to get enough slack in this wire to push it down to be able to disconnect it. So you got to slide this up the cable as far as you can. Okay, now from underneath the bike, this is the front wheel. There is a cover right here that has 2 screws in it. You have to take out. I can't really show that because my hand's all in your way, but I just wanted to let you know one little tips I'll let you know that I did. You don't have to do it, but there's 2 screws up there that's very difficult to get to. They're a Phillips head, and there's brackets that attaches to it as well. And it's just a pain to line everything up whenever you go to put it back together. So what I did is I cut a notch on both sides of this plastic. So when it goes time to put it back in, I leave my screws in there and I just snap it in to my screws and tighten it down. It has never come out, it's never caused a problem. So that's what I did. And to initially loosen them, I had to get something like this and just put a screwdriver bit in the end of it. It's very limited room. Once you do that, you got to get down here to the bottom. See if I can get a light in there where it'll stay. There are 3 screws on this, and then once you get it loose, you just pull it down. And this is a difficult part because that plug wants to stick in there and you don't have much wire. Okay, now I think I'm ready to push that down. I think I have enough wire pulled out of it. All right, so there's the plug. You just take it and disconnect it, pull this part off of it. Okay, in order to get enough length of wire to push down there, I just want to let you know that's a battle. There's like 3 zip ties that you have to undo. They're undoable zip ties, but you have to let them loose. You'll find them when you go to do this job. They're down there. There's 3 of them. You have to let those loose in order to get enough room to pull this. And then you got to get you some soapy water of some kind and spray down into the hole on this, so that'll slide down the wire. And then you just pull enough slack out to push it down. It's a pain in the booty. And then you just pull your wire out. I had my wire kind of tangled in there, which didn't make it any easier. Okay, now we're ready for the next step. All right, now we'll take a 30 millimeter, take this off. And that nut comes off. It's got a shoulder on it. And then we should be ready to lift off our clamp. Get our handlebars up out of the way. Got to make sure you have your clutch and brake hoses disconnected all the way. I did not, so I had to pop those out. And you got to sneak this stuff off through the wires. I'm glad they give you a little bit of extra wire to work with anyway. It'd be really difficult if it was really tight in there. Okay, this is where we need to be right here. I need to take off this, or knock these locking tabs down so I can take off this lock nut. It's just 2 of them. And then we should be able to unscrew this by hand. And that comes off. I don't know if there's an up and down on that. I don't really think there is, but I'm going to make sure I put it back the same way I took it off. Let me wipe it off and look and see. I've had this off one time before because when I first bought this bike, I went ahead and dropped the front end down and cleaned the lower bearing and greased it, and I cleaned the upper bearing and greased it. Then I reset this torque on this steering stem bearing. Okay, it looks the same, but we're going to put it back in this way up. And we'll take our old lock washer off of it. And I did buy a new one, and I want to show you the difference between them when I'm ready. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be torquing this nut. So you have to make you a socket. It's a 36mm socket. I didn't do a real good job of making mine the last time. I broke one of the tabs off, but I think it still works with 3. You just have to be careful with it. And if it doesn't, I'll end up shaving this all the way off, and I'll start over and make another one with the same socket. But anyway, what I want to do first is I'm going to loosen this, and then we're going to put a retorque on it. Okay, I'm going to loosen this up. So you'll turn the wheel all the way to the left. And we'll get our socket on there. And we'll loosen it up. Like that. Okay, I'm going to be following the Climber Honda manual for this. I'm going to show you what it says to do. It says, install the steering stem adjust nut, which mine's already installed, and then tighten it to 29 foot-pounds. That's the first step. Then you turn the steering stem from lock to lock 5 to 6 times to seat the bearings. Now my bearings have been in there a long time, they're seated, but I'm going to go ahead and go through this step anyway. Then it says to loosen the steering stem adjusting nut until it's hand tight, and then you tighten the steering stem adjustment nut to the torque specified listed in table 4. Well, let's go over and look at table 4. Now if you see, this says table 4, front suspension torque specs. Steering stem adjust nut, 14. So we want to go to 14 foot-pounds. And then after we go to 14 foot-pounds, it says repeat steps 7 through 9 2 more times. So then after that, we will turn it stem to stem, lock to lock, 5 to 6 times. Then we'll loosen the adjusting nut until it's hand tight. And then we'll tighten it again to 14 foot-pounds. We'll do that 2 more times, it says. So let's get started. Okay, so now I'm going to tighten this to 29 foot-pounds. There we go. It's 29 foot-pounds. Now, we're going to turn it lock to lock 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're going to loosen it till it's hand tight. Right there. Okay, now I've got my torque wrench set to 14 foot-pounds. Let me turn the wheel all the way to the right. Okay, there's 14 foot-pounds. Okay, next step, turn it lock to lock 5 to 6 times. So we're at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we'll loosen the nut. Let me get it in there good. Okay. Hand tight again. Now we'll tighten it to 14 foot-pounds again. Okay, so we got it 14 foot-pounds, and we'll go stem to stern, lock to lock, 6 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now we'll loosen it. My socket's not the best, sorry. It works fine, you just have to be directly on it with only having the 3 grippers on it. All right, now I'm going to do the final torque, 14 foot-pounds. I got the wheel all the way to the right. There we go. It's a Honda washer. And there's the part number right there. Made in Japan. We'll open it up. And I'll show you. This kind of has a conical shape to it. It's kind of raised at the top. Now, is that going to matter? I don't know. I mean, it's going to matter where the jam nut sits on it and whether it's got tension on it or not. And here's my old one. So I'm just going to put a new one on it. And I want to let you know that if you want to make a socket, all you got to do is use, if you buy one of these new, just set it on top of your 36mm socket and draw the lines and then cut in between the lines and cut all those out, and you'll be left with 4 nubs. Easy thing to do. Well, sort of easy. And then we'll take our nut, run it down. Where it's hand tight, it says. I'd say that's hand tight would be right about there. That's about as tight as I could get it with my hands, and it lines up perfectly. So we'll take our tabs and try to bend them up. All right. Now we'll slide this back on. Have to work it through all these wires. Okay, now that the wheel's straight, we'll finish sliding this in there. Make sure your plastic's okay. Plastic kind of popped out. There we go. All right. All right, let me gently tap this down. Okay, then we want to torque this down to 74 foot-pounds. Okay, now we got to torque this to 74 foot-pounds. There we go. Okay, so now we need to drop this down. All the way. We need to tighten our clamps. Okay, that's good. This wire connector and pull it down like so. And then we'll try to gently connect the two. Like that. You can see it's connected. That goes like this, and then this goes on. All right, now, whew, I think we finally got it. Everything looks right. So we'll run this up. And we'll tighten it down. Get this piece up in there. And like I mentioned earlier, I got mine to where they'll just snap on. That one's on. Gotta line this bracket up. And that one's on. Okay. Now we'll take our bit and we'll go up in there and tighten it. You're not gonna be able to see this, but you're just gonna have to trust me. Okay, that's all done. Whew. Hard part's over. So now we can feed this back down on here. Okay, now that's all popped in. Okay, now alright. Zip ties are all in. Ooh, what a pain in the hootie. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna Let's get this handlebar back in place. All right. 18. Okay. Okay, I think they're all torqued. That's good. So now we need to get our brake hose back in the holder. They're always easier getting out than they are putting back in. You ever notice that? And okay, that one's in. And this one's in, but let's see, it's not in the holder over here, so I got to pop it back out. That's back in there the way it's supposed to be. The wires all look good. Put our zip tie back on. And we'll snap our cover on, like so. Make sure everything's on there good. Make sure nothing's binding up, which I don't think it is. Looks good. Okay. Then we'll put our little covers back on. All right. And that one's in. Okay. Now on this thing here, if your ring keeps coming off, which mine did, it's got these little things that hold it on. One broke off. This one's about ready to fall off. I just siliconed it on. Seems like it's staying on real well. And as you can see, my plastic broke. And then we'll just snap that on. Well, as you can see, we're all done. That took probably an hour to do. And I mainly wanted to do that because I'm going to be going on a long ride. I want to make sure everything's right. And I was having a little bit of tail walking the dog kind of a thing at about 85. So I think my bearings were probably a little bit too tight for me tightening them the last time. But I know I got them exactly perfect. I did it by the book, and everything should be good now. So I really appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so.